Hey, welcome to another episode of the Skol Experience. We are brought again back by Tanishka. Welcome in, Tanishka. How's it going? We're here to talk about OTAs.
That was high energy, Jamie. That was
Thank
high
you.
energy.
Did we bring it up a notch this time?
Yeah, I think that's the most high energy we've done so far. I think it's
That's what we
good.
want.
Go
That's what
ahead,
we
Tanishka.
want.
What's up? Where you been? What you been doing? Are you a senior
I
yet?
yeah, I mean, I've been doing an orthopedic surgery rotation this week, so I just got back like an hour ago, I want to say. So it's been busy. I haven't been keeping track of OTAs too much, but I don't think I've missed that much either. So
Yeah, I mean, it's so slow, and there's only so much information we can get from something like that. And as far as
right,
I know, no one's come out and been like, hey, these guys are impressing, or, you
yeah.
know, anything like that. It's just press conferences where you can only get so much,
I think
which
it's
there's some
the
little things, but
only like thing that I've seen that remotely caught my eye, even though I like kind of assumed was like I don't know who I think it was Darisaw who made that one comment about how Flores's like defense and the looks they've been seeing are more relevant to what they'd actually see on game day than anything they saw in practice last year with Donatello. And I was like, that makes a lot of
hey,
That's so refreshing, right?
that is,
yeah.
that
It was
is
one of my. I
Ron
was like
McAndrews.
A. McAndrews. One of the. I was kind. I haven't been a big college fan in a while. Like when I was younger, I'd be watching Notre Dame play, and that was the only thing we had on TV. And then I just kind of stuck with them. But they didn't have like a second team that was any good, right? Like you go to Alabama, like all three, first, second, third team is legit. So it's like when you get to that bowl game, they would just get trounced by Alabama or somebody. And I'm like, they weren't practicing against the best, is what was my
Right.
thought process there. And no way our offense was practicing against the best
No.
last year.
Yeah, yeah,
And yeah, that is music to my ears. And yeah, I seen that they're talking about Flores' attacking style defense. Just perused through Twitter with my 5 minutes of research right before the show, and it's it says, and that's been the comments, is that the defense has been the standout.
That's what, yeah, like you said, that's music to our ears. That's what we need more than anything because we
Yeah.
know our offense is only better for sure than last year. It's the same offense, well, minus Thielen and add Addison, which I didn't hear much about Addison yet during that. Obviously, people had good things to say about him after rookie minicamp. I didn't hear anything come out from this yet. I know, though, I was actually watching the press conference for what's our wide receiver coach.
Ricardo.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
McCardle.
I didn't get to finish his, but I'm assuming he gets into Addison a little bit. But yeah, one I
Dude,
guess.
do you see the video when we drafted him, McCardle's face just lit up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
He
that's
was like super happy.
dude. Addison's gonna be that guy. I also watch Addison. He had I forgot what it's called, but the little golf cart ride thing.
Oh
Oh
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That
I
was
haven't
pretty
watched it
cool.
yet. I saw a
It's
thumbnail of it. I was gonna
Mhm.
watch it
yeah,
as soon as I
Addison.
could.
He seems like a good dude. So I'm
Yeah.
excited. I'm
Did you
excited.
hear
But
the draft video they did? He hung up on the Vikings like five
three, yeah.
times.
Every time they
Every
were about to
time
give the
they went
ball
to
to
go
him.
give it to somebody else, he hung up
Yeah,
on him to call him back.
that's funny. That's
It
funny.
was
Yeah, yeah. I've
hilarious.
seen
And
that.
that's the kind of thing, you just got this active mind, like, okay, we're done, let's go. That's
Yep, yep. Let's go. It's he's drafted by the team. It sounded like he wanted to. I mean, prior to the draft,
Yeah.
yeah, it sounded like there was like that mutual interest or whatever, and the Vikings said they'd go grab him if he was there, and that's exactly what happened. What's going on, Raymond? What is going on, Skol, brother, Skol? So we're talking about wide receivers. So one thing that was apparent that people want to talk about, I personally don't think it's probably a big deal. I want to see your takes on this, but as Justin Jefferson, it hasn't shown up yet in the off season. Do you think there's any concerns about that at all in any way or form? Obviously, people are going to push narratives in some direction. I literally did it with the thumbnail for this live stream, but in my opinion, I don't think that's not going to be a big deal.
Yeah.
He's just probably out, working out with other people, but at the same time, he does need to get paid going into his 5th year as the best wide receiver in the NFL. I'm assuming that's something that needs to happen
only his
pretty
fourth
soon
year,
here. What's
right?
that?
It's his fourth year, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Oh, going
You're
into his 4th year. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I mean, I don't think it's like a big concern because it is just voluntary OTAs right now. Like, yeah, I'd prefer if he was there just to be around everybody else, but I also like don't think it matters that much. I know a couple other people aren't there, like Harrison Smith's been in and out. Um,
Mhm.
but like he needs to get paid, and I think he will get paid in the next couple of months, probably before the season starts for sure. But I think like for him to I've seen like things from earlier this offseason when I think it was O'Connell that said that they like asked Jefferson about his thoughts on like making a certain move or like roster
Like
building.
he would be involved.
Yeah.
Into the
So and I
decision
think
making.
that like him being involved just like it hasn't shown us like anything about him possibly not wanting to sign a contract here. Like he just
Definitely,
seems really
definitely.
happy and like everything's like good on that front. And he just doesn't seem like the kind of person that would I mean, we don't know everything, but like
Right.
he doesn't seem like the person that would hold out for a contract. But I
Yeah.
also don't think that our GM is the kind of person that wouldn't give him whatever he deserves because he's just going to deserve every single penny he gets. So I think it'll
Yeah.
be solved before training camp starts.
I'm
Um,
happy as long as he
yeah,
doesn't have Dalvin Cook's agent. Dalvin
yeah,
Cook's
no, he
agent,
doesn't. He
man. I'm
doesn't.
like,
Dalvin
that guy
Cook's
should be
agent
on
has
like
like two good clients. Two.
yeah, the dude should have been on the Entourage. That's the way when I saw him, I'm like, is this the Entourage listening to this guy
Yeah.
on this podcast? It's crazy.
Yeah, yeah,
His
yeah. I
agent
know.
has like two relevant clients, literally.
Right, right. And speaking of Delvin Cook, obviously, so that's one thing is once the June 2nd thing happens and whether we cut Delvin Cook or somehow we get a trade at this point, it doesn't seem like that's likely. Seems like a cut. I really don't think re-signing him or whatever, him taking, I don't taking a pay cut or whatever. I don't think that's happening. Even
No.
though I know Quasi mentioned something like, hey, that's not off the table, but I don't see that happening. So after June 2nd, when he gets cut, there's obviously more money that will be available even after the Zadarius Smith trade. So it's like, or maybe we're just waiting for that until, we try to work on these contracts with Justin Jefferson. Plus, we got to talk about Danielle Hunter and what's going on with him. Like at this point, we need him bad to stick around, I think. And then, yeah, I think those are two big ones. And TJ Hawkinson, even. TJ
You know what I
Hawkinson's
think's
another
funny?
guy.
You
What's
know what
up?
I think is funny? How our chat has become so familiar with each other. They spend time saying hi to each other before
Yeah.
they ever talk to us.
Right, right. Hey, that's
They're
because
just in there going,
we got
"Hey,
the best
Kofi, what's
chat.
up,
We
y'all?"
got the best chat. What's going on, Skull for Life? What's going on, Kofi? What's going on, my worthless opinion? That's what's up.
All right.
So what do you think on that? Where are we at with Delvin Cook, Danielle Hunter? We already talked about Justin Jefferson, but we need TJ Hawkinson. Like we need the money for them. Obviously, we've created more money with these moves that I mentioned before and after the June 2nd thing. What do you think is happening with those? Do you think we're going to see an extension for Justin Jefferson this offseason, TJ Hawkinson this offseason, and Danielle Hunter this offseason?
Honestly, yeah.
What's going
I
on,
think
Yogi? Sorry.
I think Cook will be gone by after like June 1st. I don't know if that's going to be trade or cut, but I'm pretty confident saying that he's not going to be on the team come training camp.
Yeah.
Um, and that frees up a couple, like almost like 13, 14 mil. I'm not sure what the exact numbers are, but I know it frees up a lot. Or maybe it's like under 10 mil. I don't know,
It's
but
like
it
I
frees
think
nine.
up.
It's like
it's
9 mil,
Okay.
I think.
Oh, you know what? I did a video on this. It's 11 million.
Oh,
All
If
right.
great.
if we trade him, it's 11. If we cut him, it's 9.
Okay. Either way, that like money in itself could sign you, could get like one extension done. Just because of I don't know exactly how salary cap works, but if they have like almost 20, maybe 30 mil to work with for extensions, and you have the Brian O'Neill restructure in your back pocket if you need it.
Mhm,
Um,
mhm.
like I think the Danielle Hunter one out of all three of these players with Hawkinson, Jefferson, and Hunter, that's the most critical one because his contract situation has been a mess for like 3 off seasons because he's
Right.
really been underpaid. And I know they every time it's like there's been like a temporary solution and they're always like, we'll look at it next year. But
Mhm.
I think like at this point he really needs an extension that he deserves because he's still in his prime and he's a really, really, really good pass rusher. So
This
I
kind of
think
reminds me though of Thielen extension. Oh, he's finally going to get the extension he deserves. He's finally going to get paid, and then
oh
sure
man.
enough, 2-3 years later, everybody's bitching about his contract. So yeah,
Hopefully not
Yeah.
that
hopefully not
way.
this case.
That's just kind of how
What
that
do you think? 3
works,
years?
you know,
I think 3 years, right? You know, he's 29.
for Danielle
Is he
Hunter.
really
Yeah,
29? I thought he was
29
younger.
years old
Oh wow.
Yeah.
for the
Oh,
season. I don't know if he's turned 29 yet, but this is his 29-year-old
I
season.
guess it just depends on
yeah, 3
how
years
much you're.
tops.
We
Yeah, I
just
would probably
remember him
say
being
3
like
years
20,
too.
right? He's
Maybe
like,
a 4th year that's like super flexible that you can like get out of it. And
Right.
it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
yeah,
we
I
just
can
need
see
him.
that.
We just need him. So it depends on what he's looking for as well. Because I don't know at this point, you know, with Kirk Cousins potentially last season with us, the way our offense is, our defense, like we're playing, it is like competitive rebuild thing.
Yeah.
And it would be disastrous to not have Danielle Hunter on our defense with the lack of pass rushers we already have and are unknown. Like Davenport comes in, but we don't know much about him as a pass rusher. We have no one on the defensive line
Interior.
really.
Yeah.
So we need him bad, especially if we're going to continue with that competitive thing. I can't
Right.
imagine. So I feel like Danielle Hunter definitely has a little bit
I
a
also
little
think
bit
Danielle
of say
Hunter
in
is
all
the
this.
best defensive player on the team. Like you could argue Harrison Smith, but I still think it's Danielle Hunter. So like regardless, you just need him. And like, yeah, I mean he might be what 28, 29, but still, at least for now, he's still in his prime. And even if it's a short-term like a shorter contract, even if it's like 2 years, like a legit 2-year extension too, I think would be okay.
Right.
But you need him on the roster.
Yeah. Yeah. I 100% agree with that.
So I
Is O'Neal
confirmed Dalvin Cook on over the cap is 9 if we cut him,
June
11 if
2nd?
we trade him
Okay. Dang,
post
I know.
June
Wait,
1st.
we get
Either way, that's
we
good
save
either way.
11 if we trade him.
If we trade him. Well, and this is my point that I made on my videos because we weren't going to cut him pre-June 1st because that was the worst option.
Right.
That saves like
Yeah.
a little less than $6 million.
Right,
If we
right,
traded him pre-June 1st, we save a little under $8 million. I thought, well, Kwesi is going to make the gamble and say, okay, let's go past June 1st. If we trade him, we'll save 11. But if we cut him, well, I save even more money than I would have if I traded him before. So it's like, you know, he's getting that extra $1.25 million savings between not trading him and just cutting him on June 1st. So I figure that was a pretty smart gamble on Kwesi. Is that the worst case scenario is going to save $1.25 million.
Right. Yeah, that does make sense. Let me see this question. Is O'Neal coming back 100%? Everything that I've heard from them, it sounds like his injury is doing well and he should come back.
And I listened to an interview from him a while back, and he seems like he like dodged a bullet kind of thing.
Mhm.
Like it
Yeah.
wasn't as bad as anticipated.
I saw something about him possibly being back for week 1. It's still like more of like a maybe right now, but like that would be huge if that does happen.
Yeah,
Even if it
That's
doesn't,
something you
our
don't want to
tackle
bring
depth-
anybody back early for. You know,
No.
Achilles.
No.
Our
Right.
tackle
Let it
depth
heal.
too is like solid. Like if Brandel or even Udo have to play a couple games, it's really not the end of the world.
Yeah,
Udo
especially
played
with
at a high level.
Exactly.
He played at a high level at the end of the
Exactly.
There's
season.
only
did.
a couple games we got to
We were like,
see him.
Udo's good? What the hell?
Yeah.
Oh, he's
Yeah.
playing right tackle where he
guess
should
it
be.
does
Finally got
matter.
their position, they're actually
Right. It
playing
does.
good.
Positions actually do matter on
I
offensive
guess
line.
they do.
I didn't know that. I would
Uh-huh.
never known. Hey Sarah, welcome. And speaking with Sarah in here, let's just do this right away.
Get this
Of
woman
course,
some
just
onion
like
powder.
every show, we give away
God.
Justin Jefferson rookie card. Hashtag Skol in the comments, like the video, subscribe to the channels, go check out Tanishka on Twitter. Everything's in the description below.
We're giving away onion powder today. Skol, put hashtag Skol in the.
All right, let's see what's there. I'm so irritated trying to make some Cajun pasta for dinner. Apparently, every damn store is out of onion powder. Yeah. I mean, if I have actually, you know what? That's a lie. I'm actually out of onion powder too.
I don't have any either.
I actually did have
Cajun
some. I just
pasta
used
would sound pretty good about right now.
Yeah, that actually does sound super good. That does sound super good. Sarah, get that hashtag Skol in the comments. Unless you just you don't want to automatically win again.
Everyone else is thankful.
Yeah, I know everyone. She does every time. Were you in here the last time she won twice in a
Yeah,
row?
I
Was that the?
was.
Yeah, it's
Wow,
crazy.
crazy.
Yeah, that
She's
doesn't
on a
make any
cold
sense.
streak though, isn't she?
Yeah, she is. But it's not gonna last for too long for her. So anyways, I don't know what else with OTAs. I know, we were talking with the Flores thing and that the offense was saying that the defense has been looking really good. That's just been kind of change of pace compared you mentioned compared to last year or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I've seen
that's
Lewis
exciting.
Seen. Good news about Lewis Seen.
Yes.
Flying
All the
around, I
reporters are
hear.
saying that he's been flying around, looks really good. So that's really necessary and really exciting. And he's been with the first team all OTAs because Harrison Smith's been like there and not there. Like he's been in and out. So like that's really good for Seen to get those reps against a really good offense.
Right. It's good to see him bounce back as quickly as he's done. Like, I
Yeah.
don't think anyone was really expecting him to be already out here in OTAs
Right.
working the way he is. And he mentioned today even that, he's doing just as much as everybody else. They're not like putting him, obviously there's no pads. He's not, no
Right.
contact and stuff, but otherwise he's just doing everything everybody else is doing. Hey, T Jolza, welcome in. Hashtag, you have to do hashtag Skol. It has to be all in one to win this card. I know you have it kind of separated here. Scolger Soup, GG Sports, and Dave, what's good? Hello, Tanishka. What's going on, Scolger Soup? What is going on? Just like
Remember
this,
when
Joza.
remember when Adrian Peterson tore his knee up, right? And when he came back so fast, they talked about him having like Wolverine blood.
Ooh.
Like Wolverine from the X-Men.
Hey, Casey
That's Lewis Seen this year, I think.
Yeah.
It's crazy that he came back so quick.
Right.
Speaking of Casey, he is not here today. He has a wedding this weekend and he's out of town, but this is him right here. What's going on, Casey? So you're saying Lewis Seen might come in and be
Wolverine
MVP,
blood.
be an MVP?
Yeah, it might be Wolverine blood.
Ooh, that's a hot take right there.
See that? Where did you hear that? You're just not listening.
You said Adrian Peterson
coming back. You just missed Casey. Because he did win MVP that year.
He won
right?
MVP.
So I see where you're going. I see where he went with that. Yeah. How old were you, Tanishka, when he rushed for almost over 2,000 yards?
I don't know if we've asked you.
I know where I was. I was in New York City in a sports bar, and I had Patriots fan cheering me on as Adrian Peterson was about to break the record.
What was that, like 2008?
2000 and what was that? 2009?
No,
because 2009 was Brett Favre.
2008.
No, it was after that. Because 2008 was
2009, right?
2000,
no, it wasn't. 2012. I don't really remember.
Yeah,
hold it. 2012. What am I thinking? It's 2012. Shit.
His rookie season was 2007 or 2007.
2012. Sorry, I don't know what I was thinking. It's 2012.
It was 2012. So I was 9 or 8 technically, because I would turn 9 after the season.
Yeah.
So,
Vikings.
Orange peanuts. Orange peanuts. Anyone gets that right? Orange peanuts. Come on, someone. Orange peanuts.
What was I thinking? 2008. I know he had a good year in 2008 because when Brett Favre came, he was like, "Shit, yeah, I got Adrian Peterson."
Yeah, 2012, definitely 2012. Yeah. So Tanishka, what was your season? What was the season that like put you over the edge as a Vikings fan? Because for me, it was when we drafted. So 2007, when we drafted Adrian Peterson. I mean, obviously, I was a fan prior or whatever, but that was like when I became like hardcore. What was that season for you? What was like the most memorable season for you?
I think after we hired Zimmer, it was like 2014, I think. That's when I was like, oh, maybe I'll like. I randomly just watched a little bit. Like I'd watched a couple games like in and out like before that, but it was like cool, like whatever. But I think like 2014 was his first year. So it was 2015, I think. Like that was the real year. Like after 2014, I was like, oh, this is fun. I'm gonna like watch more. And then 2015 was like every game, like a hardcore more. And that was a fun season too. And with like Teddy and everything. And that like I think ever since 2015 is probably the first season I watched every like single game.
Because
So
AP
I'm
got suspended the year before. And he goes back for the 2015 season.
mhm. I think I was 12 or then. Yeah, 11 actually. No. Yeah, 11.
Who
Yeah.
else in the chat feels pretty damn old about right now?
I do. I
That's when I first moved
do.
back to Florida, or back to Florida in 2014, and I saw them play Miami in Miami, and it's been 8 years. They finally came back this year. So 8 years ago, I watched them play, and we lost on a block punt. We got totally screwed in that game. We got a touchdown taken away, or didn't give it to us when we clearly broke the end zone on one of our tight ends. I forget his name, but yeah, freaking their quarterback went off for like almost 500 yards. It was so ridiculous. But yeah, I remember that year because Asiata was our running back. Adrian Peterson got suspended. We ended up winning 7 games on the year. It was
Oh yeah, Zimmer's first year. That was 7-9.
Yeah, it was Zimmer's first year.
Yeah.
And then so you were paying attention in 2017 then when
hell yeah.
So that was probably like really like the one that was, that's what the biggest season I don't know, between that and Brett Favre's season, those were like the two biggest seasons in my entire life. Last season I was hoping I don't know where I'd rank last season.
I still think like 2017 was really fun, and obviously the playoffs were like that miracle game was awesome. But like regular season wise, last season was maybe the most fun regular season that I've watched personally.
Yeah, it's just
like every week, like just the comebacks and like the crazy things happening literally every game. Like that was really fun, and I think like even like in the off season when I go back and rewatch things, it's like this is finally a season where it's like fun to go back and rewatch some of the games. Like
all the comebacks are crazy. Like the Colts and the Bills, those are two of the best games I've ever seen as a Viking fan.
I think so too.
Like
there's
no question. What's
here? For me, if you want to hear it.
Let me get back to you, Dave, real quick. Michael O, welcome in, dude. What's going on? Hashtag Skol again, giving away another Justin Jefferson rookie card. Hashtag Skol in the comments. Like the video, subscribe to the channels. Go check out Tanishka on Twitter. Everything's in the description. Northfius. Hello, Dave. I made it.
You made it.
You made it. Yes, you made it, Northfius. Now, like the video.
I didn't expect anything else from you, man.
Appreciate it, man. Purple Pocket Podcast. What is going on?
What's up, Rap?
What is going on?
We're just about to talk about Dalvin Cook for you.
Yep. And Kirk Cousins. Rooting for the Vikings is so abusive every fall, or I think it's this. Oh yeah, every fall I think it's this time. It's different only to get my heart broken and we break up. Yeah, no, it's one of those things where even though that's what's hard with being like a really big sports fan is like we should know not to get it. Some fans are like that. I feel like there's some fans that go into the season like we've already lost. I'm the one that every new year it's another chance to win a Super Bowl, and obviously you're just gonna get heartbroken over and over again. And ladies. Hey, Rap got the Dolman card. Hi, Yogi. AP still hasn't announced his retirement. That was actually news today. I don't know. Maybe he's got some head traumas from getting knocked out by Le'Veon Bell last September. Agree, Sarah?
I knew he would lose. I mean, Bell I thought he was trained for that. Like he was he's like amateur, boxer, and AP was just going for a paycheck, I'm sure.
Let's go out. Let's go Rap. Hashtag Skol Rap. We got everybody in here. Yeah, I know. I wanted see, that's what Adrian Peterson. I didn't care. I was just rooting for him. I mean, Adrian Peterson is just a different type of human. So I was like, obviously Le'Veon Bell is no slacker himself, but Adrian Peterson's just that brute force guy. But the agility and quickness beat Adrian Peterson's that
was a no-brainer for me. But going back to where we became fans, and I'm sure I brought this up in the past, but it's probably been a while. 1987. I was 3 years younger than Tanishka. was the strike year. They had the scabs. We lost. So the first game of the year, they just replayed the Super Bowl on Sunday. So I remember watching the Super Bowl from the '86 Super Bowl again. So it's '87 season, and that was the first game of the year. None of the games played. The Vikings hired all these like just terrible players, and we lost 3 in a row. So we started out the season 0-3, and we come back, make the playoffs with only 9 wins. We go and destroy the Saints, who were heavily favored, won 12 games that year. I think 42-10. And then we come back and destroy San Francisco, knock Joe Montana. Well, Joe Montana gets benched, and so we beat a Hall of Famer pretty handily. And I think it was Anthony Carter went for. He still holds. His record just got broken this past year by a Vikings receiver and yardage record. Anthony Carter. He had over 220 yards receiving that game against San Francisco, but we ended up losing the Redskins. And I forget which running back was it that just dropped the ball in the end zone when we lost the game.
Oh man.
But yeah, that was the first. I mean, I was too young to see the Super Bowls, but that was the first experience of freaking heartbreak right there.
Dude, mine was weird. My first heartbreak was random because I think we started, I don't know if it was 2004. It was just we started the season off like 4-0, and we lost to the Giants. I think Kansas City was like undefeated, and we lost to the Giants. And that was like the first time I was really paying attention. And I thought, everyone's hyped up, of course, if you start a 4-0. Now I'll never get that hyped off of 4-0 start again. But I believe
it was 5-0 the year Teddy got hurt, right?
In 16, yeah.
Yeah, yes.
And we ended up 8-8.
Yeah, I don't remember. Well, I remember, and then the last game of that season is when we lost to Arizona to go to playoffs. If they beat us, we didn't make playoffs, and then they ended up beating us.
The crazy thing about that year, I know where I was in Nashville and watch, and we lost to 4-3-0. There was 4 teams that went 3-0 or that won 3 games that year. Like there was 4 of them. We lost to all 4 of them. The last one being Arizona.
That sounds
and the push-off rule, where if the player looked like he would have came down, but he was pushed out, then it was a touchdown, and that's how they won the game. They changed the rule the next year.
Yeah. So that was
4 games.
That season.
Yeah, I think we won 9 games, but 4 of our losses were to the 4 worst teams in the league, which was crazy.
Of course, it makes sense. It makes sense for us. What's going on, Greg? What's going on, Mateo? #Skol. Darren Nelson. Is that
Darren Nelson's the guy that dropped the ball in the end zone.
Okay. Bob Sweet.
Yeah, everybody remembers shit but me.
Okay.
Yeah, I know. I figured it was Darren Nelson. I just wanted to make sure I forgot.
I don't remember. I was not around during that time. 97 was
87. Yeah.
97 was my biggest heartbreak. 97, that's the year before 98.
You might have meant 98.
Yeah. Michael O, I just hit the like button. Hey, everybody else, you should do the same
97
thing.
We had
if you want to win a
team.
Justin Jefferson rookie card. #Skol in the comments, like the video, and subscribe to the channels. Last
you know
what's
so funny?
What's that?
For me, because the first playoff game that I watched the full, I knew, people around me were watching that one, the 2009 one, and getting really pissed about it, but I didn't really understand what was going on because I was 5, and I was like, oh, that sucks. But but I think the first game, playoff game for the Vikings that I watched and actually knew what was happening the whole time was the 2015, the Blair Walsh one.
Oh God, I was in a sports bar and I threw my hat across the fucking sports bar.
I didn't know the whole history about us versus kickers a whole lot back then. I was like, oh,
welcome. It was a hell of an introduction. It was a hell of an introduction.
I was so sure that he would make it, considering he'd already made 3 that game. I was like, oh, we got this in the bag. And then that happened, and I was sitting there shocked for at least 15 minutes after that. And I think that was my first real heartbreak. Yeah, I didn't understand 2009.
The funniest thing is it's the exact scenario of but that was the pet detective Ray Finkel. It was the same length of field goal. it was like 23 yards or
Yeah.
27 or something like that.
Right,
Yeah,
right,
And
right.
Ray Finkel missed a field goal and plotted revenge against Dan Marino. So that was the storyline behind the Pet Detective. And here we have like a situation where it's a chip shot. Like
Freezing out.
with the play before, they just moved it to the middle of the between the hash marks instead of the far left one. We win that game. It's like, oh my god! And it was Seattle, the defense, and oh man,
Yeah, I know we were underdogs for sure in that game, and
Yeah.
I was
even though
at
it was at
that
home,
game.
yeah.
I was
Right.
at that game, and it was brutal. It was
Yeah.
brutal. It was
It was
by far the
brutal, and I
most
still
brutal
thought we
game I've
had it,
ever
and
was
then
I was
there.
a little warmer than you. I was in
Yeah, I was
Florida,
cold,
so
and it was good though. It was like if you're cold, it like felt like you just endured like this cold weather. You're about to get a
Yeah.
win. Everybody around you, I have my beer that's half frozen.
you were shirtless and you had
Yeah,
one
I
of
was
the
one of the
letters of the
shirtless
Vikings on your
people up
chest.
there.
You had a
Yeah,
red
huge
eye on your
regret.
chest for Viking.
Huge regret. Yeah, yeah. It was brutal. Everybody was just pumped. It's just the environment was about to go crazy.
Yeah.
And then it was just the complete opposite. Now you're just like,
Okay.
what? Now it's just cold
Like how
out.
it really happened. Yeah.
Yeah, it's cold out now. Like you weren't even thinking about the cold anymore, and now it's just really cold.
Yeah.
Walk back to the car. That
Bud
was
Grant
brutal. I
was
didn't like that.
sleeveless out on the field,
Yeah,
flipping a
yeah.
coin.
Yeah,
We
it
did
was,
not,
too.
chat, we did not know we would be reminiscing with Tanishka about Vikings,
Well, we got three different generations of
disappointments.
we got 3 different
Yeah, we get
generations
three.
of football right here.
Yeah, both of you could be my kids. Yeah, I'm 20 years older than Jamie, so yeah.
Mhm.
I'm 10 years older than Tanishka, so
Yeah.
yeah.
And my
Yeah, it's crazy,
my
actually.
kid's 7.
I don't have any kids yet.
Same.
Tanishka, you don't have any kids yet,
No.
right?
No.
My biggest heartbreak was becoming a Viking fan because it's the only team I root for in men's sports that hasn't won a ship. And in my lifetime, my uncle is a Chiefs fan and wanted me to join him as a kid. He's just like, that team sucks.
Should have done that.
Yeah, well, they beat us
Just
in Super
in
Bowl
the Super
3,
Bowl.
right? Was
Right.
it 3 or 4? I think it was 3, right?
Never miss one all season. Yeah, you're Finkel. Randy Moss running.
Finkel's Einhorn. Einhorn is Finkel.
Robert Smith. How can you not remember? we remember, Greg. That was the 98 season.
Yeah.
Right? That was the 98 season, not 97.
Yeah, it was 98. 99 playoffs, 98 season. Yeah.
Yeah, all right, I have a question for you, Tanishka. Is there one player, because there's a player for me, I'll answer this first, but one player that you wish you would have been around to watch, and that player for me is Barry Sanders. He's one of my favorite players, and I was alive when he was playing, but I never really got to pay attention till after. Is there a player like that for you that you're like, man, I wish I would have been able to see this person play?
I mean, probably Moss.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Like, because I mean, I have
It was
keep
glorious.
seeing all these like Jefferson Moss comparisons, and all I really have is like the stats and then some highlights that I've seen. But even that's not
Right.
the same as like watching him on a week-to-week basis.
Yeah, when he had the afro and
Right.
everything, it was a big
Yeah.
deal. The mooning thing, and that's one thing too. I mean, I kind of agree because I got like when I said that 2004 season was Arizona or whatever. When did he get traded to the Raiders? Like it wasn't too far after that, so that was another huge heartbreak because it was like I just got into it. Randy Moss is the superstar, and then all of a sudden he just gets traded to the Raiders almost right away for me, and I was like, what the hell?
You'd have to be around 2000.
2000.
I want to say 2001, maybe
6?
2002.
Well, I know he played for the Raiders twice for 2 years, and then he went to 2 years, and then he went to the Patriots.
I think it had to be 2000 or 2001 because 2001. Okay. Because 2000 he was on the Vikings. He was just hurt, and that was the year we went 42 donut. He was on the Vikings, but he was hurt that season, so it had to be after that. And I remember I was in South Carolina when we drafted Williamson.
Yeah,
and I'm like, I watched that guy play every game, and I'm like, we fucking drafted him in the first round. Oh my god, this is a horrible decision. He was fast as hell, and he looked great in college, but he drops. I was on the sidelines doing site support for Daktronics, a big video scoreboard company, out of South Dakota.
2005.
South Dakota, shout out. 2005.
Yep, 2005.
So what year?
So 2004 was when he lost to Arizona. So that was a year where I first ever watched.
Okay, that makes sense. I was in Florida in 2000. I was 21 to all right. So I was in South Carolina like 2003 or 2004. I remember that now. Thank you, chat. I'm getting old, man. I forgot where I was when shit happened.
Yeah, that stunk though. Seeing Randy Moss, I would say that was like another big heartbreak. And then obviously, and I was so excited when we brought
Red
him
McComb
back.
sucks.
Right.
Yeah, I know that's terrible. But then we bring what the year was that? 2011, 2010 when we bring Randy Moss, trade for him back from the Patriots, and he plays
2000.
I think I was a senior in high school. So
2010 because it was Brett Favre, and like the first game, like there was this nice little bomb down the sideline. But yeah, there was a scene in the locker room. Apparently, I named my fantasy team Meat and Three.
Hello, Dave, you're cutting out.
After they had like a meat eat this shit and he throws it or something like that. Freaking Childress, lets him go. So yeah, I think that was 2009, or 2010. We brought him in.
2010 is when we brought him in. Yeah, I know. That was one of the most excited moments I probably ever had as a Viking fan, and he lasted 6 games, something like that, and then we cut him. I was like, I thought it was going to be like next level, especially obviously coming off that 2009 season. That was crazy. Right. Oh yeah, the Thanksgiving Cowboys
that had to be
game,
Childress' last year.
3 catches, 3 touchdowns.
Oh God, yeah, that sounds.
Oh no! So Childress' last year was 2011. So 2010, was 2010. It had to be with Favre. It was with Favre, I believe.
Randy Moss' attitude changed when Chris Carter retired. Carter kept him in line when he was there.
Interesting. Yeah, that's true. He had that relationship with them.
Right. Carter. Randy Moss was his fall guy for a little while here.
Yeah, I remember that. You guys need a fall guy. Oh yeah,
that's so how inspirational.
Was he with NFL? Was he with what network was he with when he said that to them?
I'm not sure, but he was talking to a team.
Rookie.
That's what it was. He was talking to the rookies. Yeah. Go find a fall guy. That's so funny.
Y'all need a fall guy.
Casey's my fall guy.
Got to get a fall guy. And that's what T.O. came out and says, I never got in trouble. I never did anything. I never said I needed a fall guy to anybody. I've been complete, and you guys don't like me. You don't want me in the Hall of Fame, but you put this guy in the Hall of Fame. He's talking about Chris Carter. He's talking about Jerry Rice using Stickum and shit like that. So yeah, I remember that.
Biggest heartbreak for me was when they released Alan Page and the Bears picked him up. I didn't even know that.
You go look at You go look at Alan Page's football cards. He looks like a freaking. He looks older than me in those photos.
Just need that fall guy.
He looks so old in those photos.
Dang, yeah, I don't. That's what. There's a lot of Viking players. If I was gonna say a Viking player that I didn't get to watch, I honestly don't know. I would say probably all our whole
honestly at this point too, it'd been Culpepper, just because this whole last 2 weeks of Culpepper versus Cousins. I can't contribute to any of that because I didn't watch him, and stats don't really tell you a whole lot. They tell you some stuff, but
So Justin brought that up last night. Oh, and both of us wouldn't have took. It's something like we could pick a player. It was a thing, and I didn't get to see it.
I'm not on Twitter constantly. I saw that PFF tweet.
Yeah, if we could pick. Oh yeah, Cousins was ranked second on NFC, right? As a quarterback. My San Francisco connection just sent me that.
The one that I was like, if you could add one
player from Viking history,
Cousins, or Culpepper,
who would it be?
Vikings.
Someone said Culpepper, and I'm like, okay, if you take Culpepper in his best year, the 2000 year, yeah, maybe. But is he that much better than Cousins is right now?
Right.
Probably not. Would he make that big a difference to us?
No.
Probably not.
There's someone like Alan Page.
Because he didn't make a big difference to us back then. I mean, we were losing. We were winning 5 games with freaking Randy Moss on the team.
Right. Replacing Cousins with Culpepper does not make as much of a difference as replacing Marcus Davenport with like Alan Page, or
Well,
like
plus,
even KJ Osborne or like Jordan Addison with Randy Moss.
And even
like,
if we had even adding Randy Moss would be better, because I mean
Yeah.
we'd be just outscoring teams, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
You put Culpepper in there, I don't see him doing much better than Cousins. Maybe he'd get some rushing yards, but we'd have a lot more fumbles. I could tell you that.
Best, it would just be the same production, and like that wouldn't really improve the team. So I don't see the point.
I would say if I was going to pick one of those players, I'd probably pick Randall. I think just because we really need interior rushing.
Yeah, I was going with interior linemen, and Alan Page was actually a D tackle. Believe it or not, he actually he's in like the top 10 list on sacks as a D tackle, which is kind of amazing. And we looked it up last night.
Imagine replacing Tonga with prime Alan Page. Like,
well, and Alan Page was 245 pounds, so it's like holy crap. And someone says, put Tinglehoff in there. I'm like, I'm not taking Tinglehoff. You know, if like a 5'11" or 6, I don't know how tall. He wasn't that tall. He was like 6 foot maybe. A 250-pound dude, and putting him in the center of our line. I don't know if that's a big improvement. Back then, he was a Hall of Famer, but I was like trying to think of a guy that I would take, and I kind of went like Chris Dolman. I didn't go with Jared Allen because I thought he was kind of a me guy at the end, trying to get all those sacks and just running by people because we only won 5 games that year. But and then just someone to help us on the D line. That's what I was hoping for.
Yeah, that's kind of what we need.
But yeah, Culpepper over Cousins would make that big of a difference. I don't know. And he only had like 2 good years.
The
honestly,
Vikings have had so many legends in general. Like you could do a lot better with that.
Yeah. Culpepper would have thrown it further than 3 yards on 4th and 8. Also, the year we won only 5 games with Moss also missed 12 games that season. So with Culpepper, I think one thing, I don't think there's going to be a big enough difference between Culpepper and Kirk Cousins. I honestly don't know who is better. Obviously, Kirk Cousins has better stats, but the Culpepper's
many more wins. People have all this fond memory, and I was a big Culper fan. I have like 3 jerseys sitting over here, and I've worn them on game day. I've worn them on the show. I was a big Culpepper fan. I got his McFarland figure. I mean, I loved me some Dante Culper. He was exciting, but we have like this I don't know, love affair thought of Dante Culpepper being this really great quarterback. He did have one of the best seasons in NFL history, and NFL Network actually put him in the top 10 when they were doing these top 10 things, a decade ago, and they listed him like 9th of having that season, because the only guy that could have beat MVP that year was Peyton Manning, and Manning broke the touchdown record that year. But yeah, you pluck that year of Dante Culpepper, and maybe it makes a bigger difference. But his whole career, he had one other good season. He's a sub 500 quarterback. We had some really bad seasons, and he had the best receiver in the league. That's my thought press. That's my realistic viewpoint of Dante Culpepper. The dude had like 17 fumbles one season. I'm like, it was insane.
Right. I would say, though, that is definitely at a time, obviously, like passing, like when you come to comparing stats now to even 20 years ago, like that was, it's everybody's throwing way more yards, way more touchdowns than they were back then. So that's one thing with Dante, like the whole Dante Culpepper, Kirk Cousins thing. It's hard to compare them in a way because things are different now. It's all about passing now. Kirk Cousins is in the league right now, and it's catered to quarterbacks like it's never been before, including for Dante Culpepper. And with Dante Culpepper, I mean, he just obviously he was a better winner in playoffs and big game situations. So I would really come down to that. Do I think it's that big of a difference? Would I rather have Dante Culpepper than Kirk Cousins? Do I think Dante Culpepper was a bet? I know there's some people who put Kirk Cousins at the greatest Viking quarterback of all time. I definitely wouldn't do that, and I would probably put him below Dante Culpepper based on their time, and Dante Culpepper just brought us further. Even though Kirk Cousins just has the stats, but it is at a time when there is more offense.
So here's, he 2000 he had 3,900 yards, 33 touchdowns, and then in 2004 is when he did the 4,700 yards and 39 touchdowns.
Dang.
interceptions. He had one year with 23.
Culpepper.
Oh man.
Oh, Sarah.
Sarah.
Sarah's always on it. Closest cousins come to MVPs being Jeffrey Judges.
God damn.
That's so funny. Anyways, Dave. So he had 4,700 yards.
Yeah, he had 2 really amazing seasons, and the rest were mediocre at best. And in
Right.
those mediocre at best seasons, he had like one season he had 23 interceptions. And it doesn't show his fumbles here, but that's what he was known for. Yeah, he had 9 fumbles in 2002, 7, 6.
Yeah, but
5,
he
5.
did this thing.
Yeah, and you know where that came from? Apparently,
I don't know.
I interview one time. I watched him, and apparently, like at the last game of his senior year of basketball, he got called for in it ended the game, and he got called for travel, and so he just took that on as like as a reminder from that thing, and it just kind of took off like that.
Just
That
forever.
inspired him to do that because he got called for traveling a senior year in basketball. That was from his words. I don't know, man. That was an interview I heard 20 years ago, 15, 20 years ago.
Yeah, I would say we got to go a different direction than quarterback Culpepper. I would take Tarkenton over Culpepper if it was any Viking.
Well, my point with that one was I'm going to pluck a 5'11", 180-pound guy out of the 1970s and put him in this league.
Yeah. Well, that's why it's so confusing. It's so like obviously it's hard to compare. Like who knows how Fran Tarkenton would do these days. Obviously, it's like pulling, and especially back then, like even Alan Page and these older guys, like technology and sports science and all that stuff is so far ahead that there's a chance that like a solid defensive tackle in this league today was as good as some of the elite players back then, if you're going to put them in comparison like right now. So it's kind of hard to say that, but
it's hard to compare with an era or like
those
different
especially
eras,
that
the
long
game's so
ago.
different now than like even like 10 years ago.
Right. It's completely different. But I would still, so defensive line somewhere. I'm liking, we got a lot of good defensive tackles. We'll pick one of them.
Oh yeah.
Sarah, that's not true. Kirk is an MVP of stealing money. Oh man.
The
hey, what's going on?
Inflated hate of Kirk Cousins is amazing.
This chat,
is amazing.
Dude, they're so on it though, man. They're just they're in here so often, always talking about Kirk Cousins, and
there are only 2 quarterbacks with the
time.
Vikings. There's only 2 quarterbacks with the Vikings that played more than 50 games that have a winning record.
There Dave goes. You guys are winning. Chad is winning. Oh man, no, we'll find. It'll be interesting. So, how are we feeling about Kirk Cousins going into this year? Are we feeling? I feel like he's still gonna. I think he's gonna have a good regular season again. Are we feeling? What do we think happens? If he makes it past the first round, do we see extension in his future? How are we feeling about all that stuff?
I don't know. It's so hard to predict this kind of stuff because like it depends on like a lot more than I think making it out of the first round, because like if we make it out of the first round because he played incredible, like he did last playoffs except that last drive.
Right.
But if he plays incredible in the playoffs, and you're probably picking pretty high at that point anyway.
Right.
Or pretty low. I don't know, whatever.
Yeah,
then you can consider
going on, Mike?
it. But I just don't. I haven't looked at it enough to say definitively, but I just don't know how in like 2 years they're gonna pay, or 2 or 3, pay Hawkinson, Jefferson, Darisaw, Cousins, O'Neal, and a whole defense.
Yes.
At the same time. Right. I mean, maybe it would work money-wise, but you're at that point where you can't keep pushing. Like, you can't structure a Cousins contract in a way where he's making less money, like where it's backloaded because he is getting up there in age. Right. So I don't know if they can make it work and there's no better option at QB, like whatever, that's fine, I guess. I obviously not my first choice, but because I just don't see how they can pay that many people that much money, because you consider it when it comes time, obviously Jefferson's going to become the highest paid receiver. Hawkinson might become the highest paid tight end. I mean, at least top 3, I would think, just because
Yeah.
of how the market works.
Right.
Darrisaw as well is going to become definitely one of the highest paid left tackles, maybe
Especially
the
if he
highest
becomes the
paid.
best left tackle next season.
Right. So like, how are you going to do all of this? And
Well, I think 2025 we have like 200 million.
And we also have like 20 people under contract at that point. So it's like,
so we need a lot of draft picks the next 2 years.
right,
So.
exactly. We like, I see like how that there's money in the next couple of years, but there's also like no one under contract. So it'll be interesting. I'm really excited to see where it goes.
Yeah, I think at this point, even if we go far or deep into playoffs, I still think we find that quarterback of the future.
I mean, at some point they have to, because he'll be 35 this year.
It just feels very
like
feels very
he's not
likely that
Brady.
they're
He's not going to play
committing
till
it.
45. So I don't know if you want to wait till he falls off like Russell Wilson did or Matt Ryan did, then that's cool. But like, I don't know.
No, I don't think so. I'd be surprised. I think at that age, you're
At
still
some point
worried
it's
about
gonna
the
come,
future.
like no matter who you are, like
Right.
age
And it's
is
not like
age.
he's Aaron Rodgers.
Like I don't know, he's got 3
that.
years tops, I think. Absolutely tops 3 years. Because then at that point he's like 38. So
Right. And that's like, he's 38, year 38, he did bad enough. It's like, all right, it's time to retire. So
right.
I'd like to get
Like
away from him
the
before
QBs
that.
don't play a lot past then. I think Breeze retired at what, 39?
Yeah.
Something like that.
Obviously Brady's changed everything. Brett
Brady,
Favre.
yeah.
It's so crazy.
Like, I don't think any other QB is gonna play even close to as
No.
long as Brady has. So
No. One thing I wanted to, this was interesting is Jordan. So there's 2 things here. Is Jordan Addison stuck up since he wouldn't talk to Judd? I did not know that. But speaking of Judd, he will be on Dave's show tomorrow, correct?
It's gonna be recorded.
Oh, it's gonna be recorded. So
you should ask.
So ask Dave right now. Anyways, Dave, you should bring this up to Judd and see how he felt about Jordan Addison denying him. I guess I didn't know that.
Where can I find this?
Yeah, we need.
Did he say something on his show? Because I didn't watch it today.
Yeah. Too evil. How did you know about that?
Yeah, tell me where I can find that, because I'm gonna ask him a couple hard questions.
Yeah. And that'd be a good one. That'd be a good one.
Just so I'm gonna add on to the romanticized version of Dante Culpepper here.
Okay.
All right. Career wise, he was 43 and 62.
He said it today. Too evil said
43 and 62 and a win percentage of 41%. All right. And I'm not going to say Cousins. You can go find Cousins, but Jamie brought up a point that he's got much better wins in the playoffs. He's 2-2. The year that he went to the NFC title game,
that's twice.
We had the first round bye, so he only won 1 game that year. So
he made it to, what would that be? The NFC Championship? No, did they?
We lost to the Giants in the NFC Championship.
Was that the 41-0 year, or my total?
Well, it says here, I'm looking at StatMuse, and it says record. He's 2-2 with a 54% completion percentage and 82 quarterback rating in the playoffs. So this romanticized thought of, oh my gosh, Dante Culpepper is so much better than Kirk Cousins. The stats and the records just do not sync with that. You'd put Wade Wilson above him. You'd put Brad Johnson above him as far as wins and losses. There's a Tommy Kramer might even be there, even though Tommy Kramer had a sub 500 record. So yeah, that's romanticized. Culpepper had 2 good years, really, really good years. But other than that, he's pretty mediocre.
We're still waiting for that guy. The quarterback we can't go to next year's draft's going to.
And I was the biggest Dante Culpepper fan.
We won't even have an argue anymore.
I have his jersey in 3 different colors, maybe possibly 4 if I can find it.
It was all about Dante and 84, man, growing up for me.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I was like, him and Moss were the shit. I was in my 20s though when it happened, but yeah.
On this Jordan Addison stuff, I know. So some people that I buy my cards from or whatever that I give away on here. Speaking of that, if you want a chance to win this, hashtag Skol in the comments, like the video, subscribe to the channel, all that good stuff. But no, they just went to like Panini's card thing or something to meet all the rookies, and they ended up leaving there. They have like pictures with Jordan Addison and stuff. So I might have to, next time I see them on their channel or whatever, might have to ask them to see how they felt about Jordan Addison. But everything I've seen from Jordan Addison has seemed pretty. He seems like a pretty down to earth dude for the most part. You never know with those. I mean, who knows what the situation was in that, but let's just hope he's not a diva and he just
But if you look at still photos from the
comes
draft,
to
you
a
might think
stud.
he was.
Yeah, that's all right. I mean, I'm cool with that. You kind of have to have that kind of swag, and even
Yeah.
obviously, I mean, Randy Moss, Stephon Diggs. I mean, we have a couple divas that were some of the best at their positions in the league. Sometimes you might need that at that position. Chris Carter was at one point. Michael Irving,
Oh, a
all those
diva.
guys.
Chris Carter, man.
Chris Carter prior to the Vikings. Chris Carter.
He was still an addict. He was still an addict
When he came here.
when he came here.
So that's what, like, it's a position. That's what we're so lucky to have Justin Jefferson, who's the best wide receiver in the league, and he's not a diva at all.
Yeah.
Like that's like the
so
first
rare.
superstar wide receiver of recent years. I would say, I mean, if you want to call Adam Thielen is very humble. He's definitely not like that, even though he's like best friends with every one of those players, which is really interesting every time. But so we'll see with Addison. I think it'll be good though. It'll be good. I'm not concerned.
I think the one other thing from OTAs, this was Zadarius Smith. Like, I don't know if you guys saw the comments that he made at his Browns introductory press conference, but he was basically, I don't have like an exact quote, but he was basically talking about how because of the way his contract was structured, he got like 200,000 to dress every game, which is why he was forced to play every week, and that's why toward like after the Thanksgiving game or something, he had like half a sack for like the rest of the year, and he was like, I couldn't be my best self because I felt like I had to dress to get my money. So that's why he was mad, I guess.
Yeah.
Game check, right? I don't know.
Which I think is funny because the Vikings like training staff is known to be like the best based on like the NFLPA thing and just everything I've seen from like other players that are on the team or former players. So I think it's just like hilarious that he's using that as an out to justify him not having any production for like the last 10 weeks of the season.
Well, it was his other offer, I mean, he took our offer. He backed out of one and
backed out of Baltimore. Yeah.
And that could have been they were backing out possibly and just
didn't say anything. Who knows? It could have been.
Who knows on that one?
Right.
Because maybe he didn't pass his, physical with them. I don't know. That's what it seems so weird.
Yeah, the whole situation was weird. He seems really flaky.
Addison, let's get paid on draft night. Wasn't he? He was talking about touchdowns, right? Like, let's get paid in the end zone. At least that's what some people.
It sounded like he was flirting with that girl when he was getting interviewed.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. Whatever, whatever. That's our wide receiver right there. That's wide receiver 1B right there.
Yeah, 1B. I'm gonna call him 1B.
1B. That's his name now. 1B. That's what we
I
call him.
I did do a Twitter poll, and everybody says he was the second choice. The second most popular choice is that he was 1B, but however, most people said he was our clear cut number 2. But I'm gonna go with 1B.
I'm going with 1B. That guy's got skills. Skills. You see him in the 2 seconds of highlights during rookie minicamp. The best rookie minicamp I've ever seen by a player.
He's the Hall of Fame of rookie camps.
Yeah, that was. Yeah, it was. It was impressive, man. I don't even know. Put him in the Hall of Fame immediately. But where was this? This tweet or not tweet, but I'm so excited for our defense this year. Brian Flores is a game changer in my opinion. I just want to bring up again because we were talking about it earlier in the show, so not everyone was in here, but it sounds like our offense has been very impressed by the defense in OTAs. Obviously, no pads or anything, but you could argue that that's even more impressive if the defense isn't anywhere in pads. So that's good, man. I mean, I think, speaking of, sorry to call you out here, Greg, because I know you're really worried about our defense, but I have to agree with what Dave always says about, I think Flores could make a massive difference by himself with this defense that we have compared to last year. Obviously we have I'm going to be hopeful no matter what. But
Zimmer turned it around 1 year, brought us to like the 17th best defense,
right? If he can
yards
just get
wise.
in the top 20, that's huge, especially with their
Top 20
offense
is
only
such
being
a
better.
win, right? 'Cause
Right.
I think the offense will be top 5 this year.
I think so.
So
I don't see
top
how they
20 defense is a huge win.
Right. So I think Flores can do that. It's definitely it's a really good sign that we're hearing that early, and that's without Harrison Smith in OTAs as well.
I really think people are underestimating us getting Flores as a D coordinator. I think people really, and I could see us
Especially the
giving up
media
big
right
plays.
now. I
I could see us
about it.
giving up big plays and shit because he's going to do a lot of zero, defense and a lot of man to man on the corners. So, but we're going to get to the quarterback better. We're going to pressure him better. I just feel like we're going to just, I think we're going to, because of that, we're going to have a better run defense. We're going to be attacking just younger, faster. I just, in him being able to coach people to their strengths and put them in the right position rather than Donatel trying to put square pegs in round holes.
Right.
It was just awful. I read that Twitter. I was like, I can't believe we watched 18 games of this defense last year. And we had like this glimmer of hope. Oh my goodness, we only gave up 400 yards this game.
It was
That's
always
great.
because the defense helped clutch up at the very end. They would make like one
right. It was like,
play, and then everyone would be like, "Oh, it's actually fine," and then we'd end up winning. But
I had
it
to
was
sit
like
for
not fine.
I had to sit for 4 hours listening to Justin Rapp tell me about how the defense kept us in games so Kirk Cousins could win them for 4 hours one game.
Rap
or one day.
Rap, you should
like,
here.
Calling you out, guys. Yeah. I could go watch my 4-hour long just absolute shrieking pain of a video of listening to two guys tell me how our defense kept us in games.
I do think though the one thing with Addison is he is actually going to help this offense not die after the opening drive and until the fourth quarter.
Right.
Because our second and third quarter offense
that was a real thing.
This is
what on our defense, but that lulls
because no one was getting open for like half of the game.
Yeah,
and our Dalvin Cook is just not good at the sport. And
like, oh man, Casey wishes he was in here for that.
All right, this is what I brought up last night. I think if we lose Cook, it might be addition by subtraction because we were relying on him because if we have him out there, he's going to hit a big one. And we're just waiting for that big one to hit. Yeah. And meanwhile, we're -1, and nowhere, -1. And then he hits that big one. Yeah. But that's why for 2.5, and someone brought up in the chat that we went dormant for like 2.5 quarters. And I think having a different running back in there and having a mix is that we're not going to rely on, hey, okay, we got to make sure we give it to Dalvin on this drive because he's our big hitter. I just feel like I feel like that'll just help our defense or offense not being relying on that one player, what we felt been a reliable player these past few years, and it showed. We just went 2.5 quarters without doing anything.
Not reliable anymore because that's the thing with him. He would hit the one big one once a game. He'd have a really good play. Right. But the rest of the game was like 1 yard, 2 yards, -2, 4 yards, and so and then he'd hit like a 50-yard run or something, and then his average would be like normal.
Yeah, it would be 4.5. Right?
If you were just looking at the stats, it's like 4.4 yards per carry, which if you look at that, that's not that bad. But if you watch on a play-by-play basis, he's just literally not good anymore. And you still can't take it out of
surgery. I think the surgery is going to help him, and I honestly think he's going to have a good year.
I hope he has a good year somewhere else, but not anymore.
Do not think we have a Dalvin Cook fan here. I think he will be good somewhere, I think he could be good with us. But
yeah, I just want that money for extensions, and because I think there's a lot of good running backs on this team.
Yeah, I love our running back crew, and then we got our youngest guy now. It was Madison, but now it's McBride. I think he's only like 21.
Yeah, he's really young. But I was gonna say, what do you guys think about the new kickoff?
Oh God, that just Kenny Nwangu might be gone.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
I'm hoping that, I don't know, man. If I'm Kenny, because I
don't think he offers much other than special teams, and our running back room is already really good.
Fair catching it, if it's fair catching it within the 25. Is that what you're talking about?
if
Or
you're,
which rule are you
I
talking
think
about?
it's within the 20. If you fair catch it within like the 20-yard line, they put it at the 25.
Yeah. So
So
I'm
he's
just
worth it
hoping
to
Ken is one of
initially
those
pick
people. I
up.
think Cordero's running that. I don't care if he's outside of the end zone. He's running
Well,
that. If he's
he
in the
caught
end
it
zone,
at
he's
the
running that.
109-yard line
Yeah,
and ran it back. So
right. So I
he's
don't
in it
know.
for record.
I have a feeling it's not going to make as big of it. I think for some teams, for sure, it could be our team. Maybe it's just like, hey, we're going to take our chance with 25 yards every time. But if you're getting the ball outside of the end zone, if you're a good kick returner, I'm betting on myself getting past the 25-yard line in that case.
I know, like, it's an unpopular opinion. It probably is, but I just don't think Kane is as good as a lot of people think he is. Like, he has the touchdowns. He had like what, 2 last year or like 2 years.
One.
He's had like
He had
3
2 the year
total.
Year
before.
before he had
Okay, yeah, I
2.
think he's at like 3 total
He
events.
struggled last year. I'm gonna be honest.
Last
He
year he
did.
wasn't that good on like
He
if you
wasn't,
look
but
at
I'm
every
not.
single
I think the new rule
kickoff.
sucks.
He had a few
I
big
prefer
runs. He had a
not.
few big returns and one really big one.
Yeah,
Which
it's a Pats game.
brought
I was
us
like,
back
that
in the game.
Yeah, I remember that one. But other than that, I just don't think he made that much of an impact last year anyway. And even
going
with
on,
these new
Justin?
rules, if that leads to not keeping him, I'm not like too mad about that personally.
Because
Yeah,
if you're
I
fair
like
catch,
him a lot, man.
I like him, but I don't think he's that special.
Well, Michael, so I agree that last season it wasn't very impressive, but he was extremely impressive as a rookie. He was as soon as he started in that kick returner, he was the best kick returner in the league. I think he tied in touchdowns, but he had the highest average per kick return for running.
He was
Obviously,
good as rookie.
Rookie year,
I think like with the new rules and
Yeah.
everything, I just don't think that he's worth the roster spot
It
or
might
like
not
any kick returner for
He just
that
needs-
sense.
I know it's funny now because
so basically Tanishka hates every running back we have
Yeah.
right now.
I like McBride
McBride,
and Chandler.
I like both Ty Chandler and McBride too.
I like Madison.
Oh, Madison's fine. Like,
But it
I'm
doesn't feel
very
like Madison's
McBride.
not going to be like a top 5.
Hey Michael,
No,
where'd
I
you get
don't
that
want Madison
4.2,
getting
4.3
20
speed
carries a
at?
game either. I want it to be a rotation.
4.43. What's that? Keena.
He didn't run the 40 in the combine, so I'm looking.
He's definitely fast. I wouldn't be surprised.
Well, I know he's fast, so I went down. At 4.2 is not real, but 4.3 I could see that.
Yeah.
But so did Ty Chandler ran a 4.38. So we got a guy that can. We got a guy that can hit home runs.
He ran a 4.29 at his pro day.
And
he ran a
4.29 at his pro day.
At his pro day, yeah.
Pretty good.
He's
pretty
fast.
good.
He is
That's
very
the thing
fast.
too, because this regime didn't draft Kane.
Yeah, right, Mateo.
I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't keep him. I don't know. The running back room's impressive because Cook is definitely. I know he's not going to be here, but you still have Madison. You have McBride. You have Kane. You have Chandler. Like, you have Ham. Obviously, he's still staying because they just extended him. Like, there's 5 guys right there without Dalvin Cook, and I just don't know if they're going to keep 4 running backs and a fullback on the roster. Like, I know they're not, but like that's not realistic. So I just think it'll be interesting to see which one's the odd
McBride kind of threw a wrench in that whole thing.
And none of them are sticking on the practice squad. So
right. And McBride is
anybody we put on the practice squad at running back is going to get taken.
100%.
Yeah. I'm interested. McBride's going to be fun to watch because I do think
I know. Really McBride and Madison are locks for sure, and I think Chandler's a lock as well because this regime literally drafted him last year.
Yeah.
So that's why I feel like Kane is gonna be gone, and then you look at the new kickoff rules, and it's like, oh, he's definitely gone.
Yeah.
Was Kenny taken in the when was Kenny no longer taken?
It was like the one good pick.
Right, third down, right? Third round. So we just get rid of all the third round picks from Zimmer or from Spielman.
It's so sad.
I mean, I would, I was excited to have, those guys, but then when we drafted McBride, I'm like, who's got to go? I mean, I was excited. I thought we were gonna have a deep running back, Kenny, Ty Chandler, and Madison. I thought deep running back draft. Then we go and get McBride, and I'm like, well, someone's got to go.
I feel like that just tells you about how they feel about Kane because he's the odd man out when you look at how like they've acquired the other players. Like they've chosen all the other guys. The only guy they haven't picked is Kane.
So. And I like the receiver who got UDFA. I think it's Knowles, and he's a kick returner. So I thought if that guy can make it as a 5th receiver, and then also return kicks, and we got a guy.
And they also grabbed Powell to compete with Rager, I know, for like punt returning, but there's another candidate there. So
I know we need someone. That's what we need now. Now punting just matters even more as far as special teams goes compared to a kick returner, where it's always like you want a good kick. You always want a good punt returner. At least we've always.
I don't trust Rager on that. Like,
look at Jamie when you bring up Ham's name, dude. Ham's the best player on the team.
We made him when we ranked him, we made him a Pro Bowler, right?
No, we made him. No, what do we? Oh, we put him.
We each got like a person that we could put where we wanted him. You put him as Pro Bowl.
Dude, TJ Ham's that guy. He's that guy. It's that running back room. That's what's going to be interesting this year. Is with Addison. You know, I know the coaches talk about like, all right, we're going to bring in more running next year, but it just seems like it almost doesn't make. I don't think we're going to. Like, it doesn't make a lot of sense. I already felt like we were running a little bit too much last year at some point.
I don't know. I thought they had to run it more last year because they ended up throwing like the most or like the second most in the league. I remember it was really high. And then like Dalvin would have like, which is fine because he doesn't deserve the carries, but he would have like 17 carries or like 14 carries. Like, I think they should run it more, but the running game last year was just so bad that I get why they didn't run it last year. Like, there was just like waste of downs. But I think with like Oliver, like the running game, like the run blocking is going to be better because he's a really good blocking tight end. And also on that notice with the Rager, I don't think he deserves a roster spot, but cutting him is like negative 2 point something million in cap. And I just don't know if they want to do that. So
it'll be interesting because I still, even though I get it, like Rager, that one game was so disappointing to see him stopping in his routes or whatever.
Game, right?
Yeah, that was
brutal,
right? That was brutal. That was brutal. But I still think we weren't using him correctly, and I still think there's a chance where I think there's a chance he is still the best player on our team as far as like potentially running screens or end arounds, that type of gadget player, because we don't really have that. Addison maybe can be kind of like that, but he doesn't have that same amount of speed.
That's one thing I was be used in a lot of those roles. I think. Like,
what's that?
I just don't think Addison should be used in like those roles.
In that kind of role. No,
they used him in college that way at USC, not at Pittsburgh though, but they used him that way at USC.
And he looks pretty good doing it, but that's one thing with Rager, especially if he's on our team. I would like us to just try more of that kind of stuff.
Exactly.
Just don't need to try to throw to him, I guess.
No,
but just throw get the ball in his hands somewhere for him. I wanted to see that out of him. That Colts game
after that Indy game, he didn't see the field, man.
No,
I know. As soon as that happened, he ruined his chance.
Right.
Which he deservable. I mean, deservedly, he quit on plays pretty much. So how do you not get much playing time and then you get a chance and then you quit on a play? That doesn't make any sense. But
yeah, I mean, he's just not a very good player, so that kind of is what it is. But like, I don't think that you should cut him because after Jefferson, Addison, Osborne, you have Naylor, which will obviously be the number 4 guy. But I'm sure they're going to keep 5 at least. And like, what is it, Rager versus Powell for that 5th spot? Like,
you had me at Naylor.
Sucks a donkey.
He's my fourth player. He's my crush. Naylor
will be the number 3 next year, probably after Osborne's gone. So you'll see that.
It'll be. I'm excited, man.
Everybody
interesting.
Buy stock in Naylor. That's the dude.
You know, next year, like when Naylor gets more playing time, him and Addison, because they're both like field stretchers, like that's gonna be a really good dimension to the offense because Jefferson's not like a field stretcher kind of receiver. So like you can get like deep plays out of him and stuff, but that's like not his specialty. So I think
we have lucky now.
I think with those 3 guys, we probably had the best route runners in the league. With KJ Osborne not being one of them. He's not a good. He's an average at best route runner.
Right.
But the other 3 dudes can run routes, and Naylor, when he got in there, he just impressed me. Everybody says, well, he's going to get the second team. No, he freaking looked good. Shut up. He was pretty good. So, yeah, I like that. I like our future, both at running back and receiver, is not a problem. I just would love to upgrade an interior line at some point on both sides of the ball.
Yeah.
Especially on the defensive side right now.
Yeah, that interior D line Okay.
It's just that one's going to be our Achilles heels. If Greg's right about something with our defense, which he's right about a lot of it, other than I feel like he doesn't give any credit to Flores being the new defensive
I think
coordinator.
it's like I would feel a lot worse about the defensive Flores wasn't the defensive coordinator
Yeah.
because just from a
Pretty
player
much any
standpoint,
other
it's not
defensive
impressive like at all.
Yeah.
But Flores has done really good things with really bad, mediocre units in the past. So
Which FAs do you guys want us to still pursue? There's not much out there.
Dalton Reisner, I saw some stuff.
The
I don't know,
offensive
like
lineman, right?
yeah, I used to like him before that one draft, but I didn't really like look at what he did in Denver. I know Denver fans hate him, so there's also that. But I see from like PFF that he's a good pass blocker, and neither of our guards are good pass blockers. Obviously, Ingram's still going to be a starter because he's in year 2. But I know there was like a lot of talk a couple of weeks ago on like Vikings Twitter about trading Cleveland and signing Reisner. I don't know if there's any steam on that. I've just like not been keeping up for
Yeah,
like
I haven't heard
weeks.
much
I don't know
about
what's going on.
I remember when that was happening a little bit,
Yeah.
but it's definitely settled down from that.
Yeah, like I
All
mean,
these-
I still think they should just keep Cleveland. I don't know about extending. I don't think he's earned that yet. But I think they should keep him for now because I don't know enough about Reisner to say that he's a legitimate upgrade. But I am also concerned that Bradbury might be bad again. I don't even think that he was. My thing with Bradbury is like he was good last year, but a lot of it was because of O'Connell and
Yeah.
because of like the situations that the offense was putting him in more than him just suddenly improving as a pass blocker, which he didn't.
I think giving us Ed Ingram, he was an upgrade over our previous.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so he was an
Yeah.
upgrade.
Oh,
Giving
he
it to
was. And
someone
I
else.
think he'll get better. Plus, Ingram got better as the year went on. Like there was a clear upward trajectory.
People just
Right,
want to
right.
remember him stepping on Kirk Cousins' toes.
I've gotta
Like,
stop.
He did do
means
that
he's
a
shit,
lot,
right?
though.
Like
He
that
did that
means
way
he
too
did like
much for that.
2 or 3 times, not
Like,
no more than that. It was just an
That was a
opportune
lot of-
time.
That was a lot. That should
But-
I don't barely ever see that.
I've never seen
But
anyone
I'm
do
not-
that.
That could be
I've
easy.
seen that
I've
multiple
seen that.
times.
It's happened.
I
Usually it's a
actually think
center
that's
though,
Kirk.
but
I think that's
Right,
Kirk
the
Cousins'
center,
fault.
yeah, but a guard doing that is still so funny to me.
it's you clean up the footwork kind
Yeah.
of thing.
How
It's
do
not a
you?
big deal.
What do you guys? Would you take a chance on Marcus Peters?
Yeah.
I think if there's one
think
free
he's a good
agent I'd take
corner.
a chance on, it'd be Marcus Peters
I
at
think
this
he's
point.
a good corner, yeah.
Yeah, I know he's last year, or I think he dealt with some injuries. Is that what it was? Some injuries the last
Probably.
couple
The
years or
Ravens-
something
every
like that.
Ravens
But
player is just injured all the time, so
Yeah.
probably.
I
but I would
mentioned
take
the
a chance
guy
on him. If
last
there's
night.
one, I would
I'm trying to
probably
find him here.
do that. Unless it was like I know I can never say his name.
What pass rushers are out there?
Yeah,
Someone-
Nagwank. I can never say his name.
Oh,
Nagwanku.
Ngakwe.
Yeah, there. Thank you.
Yeah,
thank you.
I just I don't want him
old
because he's
Viking.
undersized and he's an undersized 4-3 defensive end. So
Yeah.
I don't
Well,
see
we
him
just
fitting
need-
in our defense.
We just need bodies. We just need some bodies there. Peters is a head case.
Probably.
He probably
Yeah,
is, but I mean, would I take like a 1-year deal? Yeah, I'm doing it. I'm taking anything we can get in that secondary extra because we have that secondary is so unknown. I'm just kind of hoping that we see progress from our young
My
players.
thing is the secondary is super unknown, but I'm also okay with just letting them play and figuring out who they are because they might just totally suck, but at least we know at that point because like the issue is like Evans started 4 games maybe, and
Not
Booth
even, I don't
died in
think.
like the first game he started or something.
Yeah, something
So
like that.
like I mean, they got to stay healthy too. Like that's on
Right.
them and luck and stuff. But
Greg, I hate the 3-4 defense.
yeah, me
I
too.
know you
But
yeah, I know.
But like, I think you just gotta pray that they stay healthy and see
Yeah.
what they have, because you got to know if you need to replace them next year, and the only way you can know that is if they actually play. So even if it is growing pains this year, that's fine.
Yeah, it just stinks because you're like you want to be good. Like our defensive line and our cornerbacks, if not one of them kind of,
If not, if one unit doesn't step up, it's going to be bad.
yeah, it's going to be bad. And we're just going to be in the same scenario that we are every single year. I think maybe with the defensive tackle thing, maybe we get away with it. I don't know. I'm just hoping so. I think that's going to be our Achilles heel. But the cornerback situation, like it could end up work out well for us. I think we have a lot of nice young talent there, and we just really need one to step up, assuming that Murphy
Yeah.
comes in and plays well. Because that's another thing too.
If Murphy plays
we don't
well,
even know if Murphy is for sure. He's not a for
right?
sure
Because the
thing or
back
anything.
surgery, right?
Yeah. So, but if he does come and play as well, then we just need like one guy to step up in some way or
Literally, if
form.
Evans
But
can be even half of what he was for like the 4 games he started, they're fine at corner, assuming that people don't get hurt. But that's also like a big assumption, just given the history of a lot of these guys.
right. So
Like
it's gonna
Luke
be
has said, he
interesting.
hasn't been healthy since high school, and we saw that like his first year with 2 separate injuries. Like it's just
Leonard Floyd.
unfortunate.
So here's some names: Frank Clark, of course, J.J. Watt, but he's retired. Robert Quinn, Yannick Ngakwe, Jadeveon Clowney. And there's a guy like a D tackle. He's older, 31. Shelby Harris.
Shelby he played for
I just feel like
Denver.
putting him in there.
Shelby Harris is already an improvement over Kyrus Tonga. So I mean, even at 31.
So yeah.
No, I don't know, man.
At a high level.
I feel like the Vikings, they must feel something in Tonga because otherwise,
Roy. Jaquelin Roy.
Jaquelin Roy.
To go get him. Maybe he just wins the spot.
I mean, he could, but still, I just feel like you waited till the 5th, like this whole offseason. You let Delvin Tomlinson go, and you wait to the 5th round to pick a defensive tackle.
I mean, I feel like that's more out of like necessity than choice, because like they didn't have enough resources to fill every hole this offseason, and I feel like defensive tackle was one of the ones that you could ignore more than like corner or like wide receiver or like even linebacker. But even though the linebacker room isn't good, but like I still think that they'll try to go get a DT next year when they have more money or like more draft picks, because I think it's just more of a necessity thing than like feeling good about any of those guys, because Tonga's been good in a rotating role, but I just don't know, like there's just nothing there. Like not as a starter.
That's I was
and they talk about Jaquelin being, he could play anywhere on the line. I'm like, I don't want to hear that. I want to hear about how of a destructive force he is at nose tackle. That's what I want to hear.
That's
exactly.
He can play anywhere on the line. No, I want a guy that I say, oh, that's where we're going to put him, and he's going to destroy them every down. That's what I want. And for me, it's like if Tonga and Jaquelin are going to like rotate, throw in a Shelby Harris, is like, give me 5 plays, man, a game.
Exactly.
You know?
I'm good
with guys,
rotation.
I'm gonna put you in there, and you just go balls out. There you go. That's what I want from you guys. Exactly. If that's the only way to make up for not having a dominant player.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yep. We're gonna have to figure something out with that for sure.
Tonga playing more than like 20 snaps a game. That's when.
Hey, what's going on, Skol TY? Skol TY. By the way, I sent you another card. I know you asked a couple weeks ago or a week ago or something like that, but I sent you another one today, actually. Yeah, man, I just don't know. I don't know.
There's a lot of uncertainty, but
tackles
honestly,
is what I'm
makes it
nervous
exciting
about.
because, like, for the defense especially, it's like one of the years, because even like last year, we didn't know if the unit was going to be good, but we knew like what it was capable of because we knew how good Kendricks could be, or like Hunter and Smith as like a duo could be, or like even like Chandon Sullivan on a really good day. We knew what Patrick Peterson could be, but we don't know what any of these guys can be. It's all just like
for cornerbacks, defensive tackle, other than Roy, I guess, and then I guess maybe some people would argue Tonga, but we don't really have that same thing as our cornerbacks. Like our cornerbacks, we have Caleb Evans, who could be, who knows what he can be. We've seen flashes of him. We got Booth, who is still considered was a top 5 cornerback coming into last year's draft, and we got Blackman. And we got, so it's like we got
out of those 3 guys, I think one stud is going to appear.
So one is enough. It's exciting. I mean, there could be two. There's a good chance 2 of them works out. There's a chance all 3 of them have potential to be good.
That'd be incredible.
I'm not banking on all 3 of them to work out.
I would take just one, and you're good, honestly.
Yeah. Defensive tackle, we don't have that. We don't have that out unless
you're
off-ball linebacker. You have Asamoah, so I'm excited about seeing him play like significant snaps every week. But other than that, like you have Hicks, but he's clearly just like a filler for now.
We need Pace to be that guy.
You're going to be replacing Hicks like next year. Ivan Pace is too undersized to do anything but like blitz on like occasional plays.
Right.
And like you have nobody else at linebacker. So like obviously they'll be adding to that next year. And I know you can't do everything in one offseason because of how bad the defense was. So it's like just patience. But linebacker needs to be addressed next offseason as like a pretty high need, in my opinion.
Yeah.
It really sounds like we're going to put
that guy. You need someone next to him.
Well, that's
it
why
really
I was
seems like we're going to, like on third down, passing downs, we really can't rely on having two linebackers out off-ball linebackers out there with the players we have. Like Hicks was pretty mediocre at it. There was some flashes. He made a big play against the Cardinals, things like that. But Asamoah is probably the only guy who can really have a guy cover a tight end. But if you watch the draft video, they said this guy is going to be a nickel corner, and they announced him as a corner.
Yeah.
So putting a 6'2" cornerback or safety at cornerback, he was like a hybrid player.
Yeah.
So you got him, you got Louis Cine, you got the safeties that can come up and play nickel.
Even Bynum.
Yeah, I was Bynum escaped my mind there. I was like, who's the other guy?
I would trust him more in that role than as like.
Bynum, Ward, Cine could all come up and play because Cine's fast. He's running a 4.3.
Yeah, well, that's being very hopeful though, because I don't like having a guy like Roy come in and just like having any of those. We've been not very lucky with any of those guys coming in and just impacting our defense right away, so I'm hoping like between Blackman, Roy, and what's the defensive tackle's name again?
Roy
not Roy, safety
Ward.
Ward. Out of those three, I mean, obviously
he's a corner, man.
Yeah, it'd be nice if one of those ended up turning up, but there's a good chance none of them really impact the season next year.
And hopefully that's fine. I think it's more about just building the defense as a unit, and you're not going to be able to build it as a finished product in 1 year. Like, that's why I also think that Flores is going to be here more than 1 year. And like, that's the hope, at least. And I feel like maybe by year 2, especially by year 3, it's like when it's more of a complete product.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what it was for Zimmer too. Like, they went from 32 to like top 20 in like one season, but it wasn't until like year 2 or 3 where it really became like top 5 and then top 1. And that's, if like all goes well, at least that's probably what it's going to be with this too. Like, it's going to take a couple of years, and that's okay. But as long as we see like improvement or players who are worth building around, that's like all you can hope for right now. Because I know like with defense, especially the last couple of years, we haven't had young studs anywhere. Like we've been like relying on our old like
veterans.
Core.
Right. Or veteran studs.
This year, there's so many young guys that have the potential to be those like the next core. So like, it's just hoping that a lot of them turn out.
Yeah, I'm liking Blackman more. I hear about him. I still go back to the fact that he's like in people's pocket, but he's holding on to it. So he's a little handsy right now. But the one thing I like about this year more than I did last year, and I'm a little more excited. Like I said, we could lose more games and still be better team.
Yeah.
Is that going into this year, I feel like we have 53 players. Like I think, like I don't feel like, hey, that 52nd and 53rd player are probably pretty shitty, and they're just gonna fill a body. I feel like we have 53 people. Like we may even go down to 60, where I felt like they would be good to have on the team. Like they would contribute. I mean, maybe not that low, but I just feel a lot better about that roster. And I did find out something that I didn't know. I was thinking that this was the case. Is I was worried about having a third quarterback on the active roster, but the rule is that he doesn't count towards the game day roster, and he can come in as long as the other two players are out, and if one comes back in, he has to come out. Like if one gets okayed to play, then that the Jaron Hall has to go back out of the game.
Right.
So I feel better that we're not taking up a space with the third quarterback.
Yeah, that is really nice.
Probably.
It's funny how when something like that happens to a team in playoffs, they'll like instantly change the rules, just like
as they should. That was awful last year.
Yeah, that stinks. That definitely stings for them. But yeah, it happened with us with the field goal against the Saints when we went to overtime, and then they scored that field goal on the first drive or whatever. But that's what kind of happens. But no, I agree. I think that's nice. I mean, we'll be able to keep all 3 quarterbacks. It's really nice with Jaren Hall. So, if we just feel
Because
better
him on the
about,
practice squad
yeah,
wouldn't work.
hopefully he
No,
It
just
wouldn't
ends up
happen.
being,
Freaking
hopefully he
gone.
just looks so good. He's just, quarterback 2 right out the gate or something like that. But
Did
assuming
you hear
that's
about the
not
Carolina
case,
fans talking about Bryce Young?
no, I don't know.
That he looks like a freshman making the varsity, and
Yeah.
he's running around like a
He's so
bobblehead
tiny,
because
it's
his
so
helmet's so
He's
big
so
compared to the
small.
rest of his body.
I know, and apparently Judd called Addison, said he was like crazy how small he looked. But you're talking about just a wide receiver. There's so many small wide receivers in this draft. It was crazy.
Well,
Tam,
Addison's what,
Addison,
180 pounds and 5'11", right?
175, and
Yeah.
he's like, well, I think he's considered 6 foot. We'll call him 6 foot. But yeah, like 175.
He's
He was
not
on
6
that
foot.
on that one.
Did you
on
see
the-
him standing next to Kwesi and Kevin O'Connell? Man, he looks so tiny. Because
Yeah.
they're both like really tall. They're both like 6'5",
They're
right?
so
Right,
tall,
And
yeah.
then Addison
Yeah.
walks into the
Unless
room and he's
5'11".
I know this was a small wide receiver.
I would
draft
take
class
our
here.
coaching staff on a 2-on-2 game any day of the week.
Yeah, yeah.
Basketball
Yeah, we'll
pickup
see.
game.
Oh, basketball.
Easily. I don't think. Yeah.
I don't know if they.
I think
don't know how they are at basketball.
Kevin O'Connell played some ball. I
Oh,
know
did he?
that. Yeah.
Did he? Trying to think if anyone else is known to be
High
playing
school.
basketball. Is there any tight ends for coaches? Usually they're the ones that like played basketball before.
I don't know.
I don't know.
But I'll
but
take our GM and our head coach over
Yeah,
anybody
I'm
else's
taking
GM
him.
or head coach.
Not help then. So who
Darisaw
who
said
the
that.
O-line?
We
You
talked
said-
about this earlier in the show, and it was Darisaw that said that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. They also made Stickum outlawed after the Vikings lost the Super Bowl. Guess Jerry Rice didn't get the notice since he was allowed to cheat his whole career. We were talking about that earlier too.
Can't believe you
Kinda.
admit that. You know.
Yeah, right. And that's why Randy Moss is the greatest wide receiver of all time.
Yeah, that's what made it solidify that Randy Moss was the GOAT.
I'm
after
going
I
to
found
Green
that
Bay
out.
Vikings game at Green Bay. Jamie, come join me. Greg, where do you live again? I forget. I have to pick 2. I'm going to the Carolina game for sure,
Ooh.
but I'm not doing any more than 2 this year since I'm gonna have to travel no matter where I go. So I don't know if I'll make it to Green Bay this year, either Indiana. So Green Bay is probably the closest for you this year. What we need to do, I think one of our plans, I think we mentioned it actually last time you were on here, is where I kind of want all of us to go to a just a home game and then be able to have as many
great.
people go up there and meet up and stuff. I think would be really cool. Otherwise, it sounds like as far as our group goes, Carolina and then Vegas. So I don't know if it's either Vegas or Minnesota. I mean, Vegas is always fun, but it'd be kind of cool to go back and be able to see a lot more people if we're back in Minnesota.
I want to try to get to
Green Bay would be sweet though.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know, man. Going to like taking a trip to go to Wisconsin, like I don't know if I have it in me. I know it's legendary spot.
Yeah, I
but
don't
There's
know,
really
man.
nothing there, like, because I've been to Green Bay a couple times. I mean, the stadium's cool and
I bet
stuff,
you they
but
do.
like, there's honestly like, there's nothing to do. So I mean,
Hey, Michael. Oh, we're all. I think we're gonna have
I'm
a
gonna
whole
try to
group
go
there.
too, man. I'm low key trying to arrange me going to Carolina.
Sounds good, Greg. Hey, I'll keep you updated on that for sure. Yeah, I forgot. Or actually, Kofi, you live in North Carolina too. I don't know if you're still in here. Anytime. Kofi's a big Kirk fan, so you never know if Kirk stuff gets brought up.
Look at
But
me.
I think Kofi's North Carolina too. But yeah, I think we're gonna have a group of people going to Carolina, so
that's
it
cool.
should be a good time.
I'm
I'll
trying
buy
to
the
go to
drinks.
Boys in the house.
so-
Hey, let's
Make
go,
a YouTube
Greg. I'm
video
in.
about it.
Kofi is here. Kofi, you're going to the Panthers game then, right? You gotta. It's actually crazy. I've been there. I went to the last game against them in Carolina, and that was just 2 years ago. So it's kind of
yeah.
crazy that we're playing them twice at their home in 2 years. Oh, okay. But yeah, the NFL.
The
Yeah, I
Sunday
know
night
how
football
annoying is
game
that.
versus the Packers on New Year's Eve. That one would be such a fun one to go to.
Dude, is that home or away?
It's at home.
That's at home.
Yeah, Sunday night football, New Year's Eve.
No, it's gonna be like
That is
$500 a
sweet.
ticket
Yeah, probably.
at least. Nosebleeds. Yeah, but alrighty. I think we're over an hour and a half. Let's do this giveaway. Get going here. Man, we talked about all kinds of fun stuff today.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool to notice like all of us kind of coming from different generations of football. I thought that was pretty interesting actually. So again, everybody in here, hashtag Skol to win this Justin Jefferson rookie card. Hashtag Skol. Let me get the tool up here. Boom. Oh, another hashtag right off the bat. I'll run it at 8:39. So a minute or two. Random times. Congrats, Sarah. Might as well say it now.
Yeah.
She's been. I don't know if she's hashtag Skol yet since she's been in here. Has she? She might not be in this one.
She's in here. She just said something a minute ago. I don't know if
Yeah,
she's
I don't know if
actually
she's-
there.
Shit in Green Bay.
That's true though. There's literally nothing.
Yeah,
in
Green
there.
Bay hosting the draft. Where are people gonna stay?
No, literally.
Yeah, it's like a big. It's just like
I've
a
been there and there's,
farmland
like-
with just like
People
a.
be renting out their spare bedrooms.
There's like one really big hotel, which is where I've stayed at, but like that's like clearly not enough. So I don't know. People gotta live at Milwaukee and then like drive in or something.
Right. That was supposed to be ours. It was supposed to be our draft.
Right. We need a draft, honestly.
I know. Oh, Sarah did it. She is in this. All right, y'all are screwed. She's in this.
Of course.
Oh, she did it for insurance. Yeah, I found your other one.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
think you
the,
did.
the
Oh,
last
okay.
last week
77.
I didn't see her name. She complained that her name wasn't there.
Wasn't in there. I don't know, man. Maybe this
I
thing's
don't
like
remember seeing
putting
that.
you in timeout for a little bit, but I
Making
think
it
it's
fair
gonna-
to everyone else.
Yeah. Hey, what's up, Sage Myers? Welcome in. Hey, we're
Make sure
doing
you
a
hit
giveaway.
Skol, hashtag Skol, man. Hurry
Hashtag
up.
Skol to win a Justin Jefferson rookie card and subscribe to the channels. Everything's in the description below. You can like the
Yep,
video,
Minnesota Sports Talk.
GG Sports Podcast, and follow Tanishka on Twitter, which is all in the
Do
description.
you have an announcement, Tanishka?
Not yet, no.
You don't want to announce it yet?
Well, because nothing's official. I've been so busy, but we'll see.
Someday in the near future, Tanishka's gonna drop a bomb on everybody in here.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it's just not today.
No.
Keep y'all waiting. All right, I'm gonna run it. We got 18 entries. Let's go. Actually, we're gonna step it up. I'm gonna do the Justin Jefferson on the blue foil rookie card, which is a lot better than the other one. So we're gonna give it a little bit extra special today, and we're drawing in 3, 2, 1. Let's go.
Oh,
what we got? What we
Sarah's
got?
in.
There's in there.
Sarah,
Sarah.
here it is.
Sarah.
Sarah.
Greg. Hey, Greg. I know you're in here.
Yep.
He's
Let's
won before.
go. Let's go. Yeah, he's won. No shit. Greg wins. And Greg wins.
Man, I'm noticing my freaking feed is like grainy as hell.
On your side of your screen. on
Yeah, I
StreamYard?
think I should have restarted my computer.
Greg, yeah, there he is.
Yeah.
Heck yeah, he deserves it. I mean, that's what you got to do. He offered to buy me drinks, Greg Casey. He
Seems
offered to
like a
buy
fair
me
trade.
drinks if we went to a game.
Yeah.
Obviously, what do you guys expect? Of course he's going to win. Of course he's going to win. Casey Gron. Congrats, Greg. Congrats. You should give Greg a Cousins rookie. I don't have any Cousins rookies anymore. I gave them all away. Kofi's one of my Cousins rookies, actually. To find out he's a big Cousins guy. So, but all right, I think.
Oh, we're big.
Up.
There we go.
Let's do more. Sarah didn't win. All right. I shouldn't. I've been slacking on. All right, I'm doing one more. I'll do one more, but I have been having a harder time to find some cards. Actually, I forgot who it was. Someone wanted a John Randall auto, and I'm gonna try to get one for you all. But I gotta give one more. I gotta do one more. You guys asked. 17 people in here. We're going.
For a moment, everybody's got one.
Yep. No, not everybody. Not everybody. This is the last one for sure. And the winner is, you have to be in here. Kofi. We were just talking about him too.
Real.
Kofi is the winner. Sorry, Sarah. Next time.
You didn't even show it though.
What Oh, I didn't?
You just announced it.
Oh, I didn't know that.
That's fine.
It's right here.
There you go.
There you go. I didn't cheat. I didn't
Nice.
cheat. Promise. All right, Kofi, I'll hit you up. Let's go. Greg, obviously, I already have both your addresses, so it'll be easy. I'll get those out to you right away. But other than that, anything else you want to end with, either of you?
I just can't wait till Tanishka tells us her,
It's gonna
makes a
be
big
good.
announcement. I
It's gonna
mean,
be good.
I don't know if
Soon.
she's leaving us in suspense. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yep.
I thought it was
But all right,
tonight.
everybody,
Me
let's
too.
rig this house. All right. Skol Vikes, everyone.
All right. See you
We'll
guys.
see you next week.